Hello, everyone. This is Kenton David Bell. Oh, what an exciting podcast today, or announcement, I guess you would call it. So, I'm here to talk about my new book that I just signed a publishing contract for. I'm very excited. My first book called Telos, The Invitation to the Enlightened Living Operating System. And this is a book that is designed for humanity, for individuals going through the ascension process. And we're all going through the ascension process. Some people are more open to it than others. Some are hanging on to the old. Um, there's a lot we could talk about that, but I'm not going to go into that today. But what's really great about this book is it gives you a an ability to kind of break down the old structure within yourself and to download, install what I call the TELOS blueprint. And the telos is an idea. The word comes from ancient Greece. It was coined by Aristotle, and it means kind of ultimate purpose or end goal. In this case, it refers to the deep divine blueprint that is in each and every one of us. Telos is an intelligent stream of consciousness that started coming to me about 13 years ago, and I kind of brushed it aside at the time. Over the last 4 years or so now, I think many of you know I went through a very tumultuous time of personal crises. I had a skin cancer. I had a one major surgery on the left side of my face here, and it's healed up quite well. You can't really tell unless you look closely. Don't have a lot of feeling right through here though. And then I've had subsequently a number, about 10, 12 other procedures of, less um, invasive than the first one. But also the first one left me afterwards. Well, at the time, I thought it was from the surgery infection. Looking back, I think it was more than that. I think it was a divine intervention in a lot of ways. So some of you know that story. I don't have to go into it deeply. Everything happened at once. The S hit the fan in my life all at once, and everything fell apart. My practice, um, my family, complete betrayal from family, and my practice, friends. I mean, it was across the board. Everything changed, and boy, am I grateful that it did. Where I am now, I could not have. There's no way I could have gotten here without a crisis. Now, I thought about titling this The Invitation, and behind the word invitation, have the word intervention crossed out, because I went through what I call an intervention, a divine intervention. You don't have to. You can take the invitation, take the easy road. So I'm just going to talk briefly about this book. I'm just so excited about it. The publisher is so excited. They actually gave me a contract for a trilogy when I mentioned I had two more books that are coming through, and I've already started working on the second one. So there's going to be it's a lot of information coming through. It's designed for this time that we're in right now, the major shift on the planet. Um, we are in the ascension cycle. You see the structures falling down. And this is the answer to that. When you begin to live from your telos, you're living from the platform that is greater than all of your conditioning, all that you believe to be true. That whole world is falling apart, in case you haven't noticed. Some people are noticing it more so than others. Some people are going through a bit of their own personal crises and then stepping into the new. Others are kind of white knuckling it, you might say. And then there's a lot of people who just don't see the ascension happening. And I kind of feel sorry for them, but they're hanging on to the old. um, like it's like it's the only reality there is, and that's not true. So this isn't for everybody, but it's for those who resonate with the ascension process. And in the book, there is what we call the manifesto, the seven principles of the telos. And the first principle is reality is structured through intelligence. And you can see it's structured, and therefore there's an intelligence behind it. And we begin to talk like that in the book. And then we talk about the human being is also designed. We go through these seven principles. The first one is reality is structured by intelligence. The second one is humanity is designed. We're not accidental. The third one is the DNA is the bridge between source and form. The third book is going to be on that alone. So we're going to expand into the DNA and other topics around the DNA and the universal current in book three. Um, and then principle four is Telos is the base platform for ascended humanity. Once again, we're using the word telos here. Now you can use that word interchangeably with authentic self, with the more expanded platform that you stand on. Often we use in the telos we use kind of like technology verbiage. It's a good way in these times we live in for people to understand what's actually happening. And this is all channeled through and then refined, condensed down. I had to the book is 350 pages, about 100,000 words. When it first, all the information when it was first there was over 300,000 words. So I had to be condensed down and down and down, which took considerable time and energy. And it's a very nicely polished piece now. And so think in terms of like your here I'm talking on my laptop, filming this on Zoom. Your laptop or your computer, desktop, whatever you're working on, has a platform in it, and all your apps run on this platform. But the platform is kind of in a sense of the computer, it's its base reality. Now we're coming off a base reality that has been something that humanity has been standing on for a long time. But we're changing now, and that base platform is actually beginning to disappear. It's outdated, and it's going to eventually disappear completely. And if you're still standing on it when it dissolves, it's going to be very difficult for those who are still standing on it. So what this does is this opens up a base platform, a new, much more comprehensive, which allows greater capacity of the human being. I went through this my own crises, and in the last year, you would not recognize if you lived with me, you would be shocked at the changes I've gone through and where I'm at, what I'm standing on now. And all of it comes back to this book, everything that's in this book. And so literally I've I say downloaded this new architecture, and it's a platform that you live on, that we live on. And at first when I did this, I thought, oh my God, maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I'm making all this up. I've been doing this work for 30 years, and I'm actually very, I question all of it as it comes through. I don't just take it as face value. Those of you who know me know my commitment to the quality of work I put out there. And I would say this one is A plus plus compared to anything I've done before. It's literally another world. And I'm excited about sharing it all. So your platform, it's in you though too. So when we say download, this information is already encoded in each and every person. So the book and the teachings around it is all about opening that up, clearing out what you're not. Many of us call it the sacred unwinding, the unwinding of the old paradigm, the old conditioning, the traumas, all that stuff comes out of you. And then you're standing on a new platform, and the capacity on this new platform is much greater. It's like your computer got a massive upgrade. And one of the there's a couple of principles here to look for. Coherence is one of the main guiding principles in the new energy, not just in the work I'm sharing, but you'll see it in other people who are actually talking about and teaching, sharing about the ascension process. If they're if they're not using the word coherence, they might not be talking about the new energy. So in the new energy, which is a fifth dimensional platform, where reality starts to manifest much more rapidly than it did in the old platform. And this, the new world that is forming through us. It's not forming outside of us. One of the earmarks of the new energy is that the distance between the individual and reality, that gap is shrinking. I've done a lot of law of attraction teaching and practices for decades now, and I love the law of attraction, especially the Abraham material. Has had a huge, huge effect on my life, and it's very real, very true, very good stuff. I've taught, I've lived it myself. Just like anything I teach, I live it myself. I walk the talk, and so this in law of attraction, it was like you're manifesting. It's kind of outside of you, the thing that you want. Well, yeah, we still experience reality as something that's kind of here and not here. The gap is closing now between what we think, what we resonate with, and what is being created outward. And because the energy, the frequencies have picked up on the planet, if you're in the old and you're hanging on to things that you don't want, you're going to get more and more and more of what you don't want. Now, this addresses that. I'm not going to spend a lot of energy talking about what's wrong with the old because that's just wasted energy. What I'm here to do is to um, download the channel this information, make it accessible to others, and share it that way through my books, through courses, and session work is what I'm doing. And really only focusing on the new going forward, not looking back. My whole life up to this point is really literally like a different incarnation. It's that extreme. Um, Coherence, going back to coherence. Coherence, resonance are words that you want to be looking for, whether it's my work or somebody else's work that you're following. This is important because in the old platform, I will talk about the old platform a little bit here for a moment. And in many ways, it's a fractured uh, platform. Most of all of us who lived on that platform spent a lot of time compensating for the fractured nature of that platform. On the new platform, it's like all the things that you wish were a little bit different in life, like that make life easier, that don't really drain your energy all day long because you're just trying to, kind of tread water just to stay at a certain level. That all goes away in the new Telos platform. This is a divinely sourced energy that is within each of us that as we decide, as we truly make up our mind to step into the new, we're able to begin to access it powerfully. And what I provide here is, you could call it a map. You're going to hear in my book a lot about architecture. And what we're doing is we're building the new world through us. It's not outside of us. So those who get on board early are going to be the builders of the new world. Let's be really clear about that. And it's not going to the things that we can look and see right now what's wrong with the old world just by looking in it. Everything that's wrong is exacerbated right now. For instance, going forward, in the new, being a billionaire is not necessarily a wonderful asset. Nothing wrong with money, of course. I like money. I like how money moves through my life, and money's provided me with a lot of opportunities for sure, and a certain quality of life that I absolutely love. But money here takes kind of a back seat almost. And what takes a front seat is the expression of your essence out into the world. It becomes something that you literally cannot not do. I've been working with a very small group, two other individuals, for about 6 months, people I know, to run this energy in that group. And it's phenomenal what's happened to all three of us in a short span of time. We are all beginning to live a dream that was was not even con able to conceive of 6 months prior. So and I'm not going to go into all the details because it's going to be different for each and every person. But I promise you, I'm not exaggerating when I say it's almost incomprehensible the amount of change that's happened to myself and these two other individuals on, call it kind of my practice run. And I'm still working with that group, and we were thinking about taking public, but right now we are enjoying it so much privately that we're going to keep it that way. But I will be offering some new groups in the Telos, kind of a Telos study format. And with my energy teaching you live, you will also get more activations and energy from my presence. And then as you take that on, as you step into your telos, um, you're going to take that and it's going to affect those around you. So this isn't just for the individual, this is for the collective as well, the collective well-being of our planet. And I say this with great humility. I see myself as a steward here. It's not, oh, this is all Kenton. No, I'm a channel, I'm a vessel for it. My one of the hallmarks of the telos is what you know as yourself, as your personality begins to dissolve. You become less you, the you that you think you are, and more of the true you, the essence of who you are. And in that is also your divine power and authority to create your world the way that you see fit. And in the telos alignment, that will be aligned with your, call it your soul, your essence, the kind of the reason for your existence here, which is the definition of telos. And it just so happens I didn't discover this right away. Telos told me its name like 13 years ago, and it was just this last year that I realized it's an acronym for the Enlightened Living Operating System, which it really is. And so all of that is kind of in the book. I'm rambling a little bit here to give you an overview. I have notes here, but I'm straying from them quite a bit because I like the flow I'm in. Then once you start the getting that Telos platform grounded in you, downloaded, once again, it's already in you. So the download is kind of more the activation itself. And this is all stored in our DNA. Our DNA was programmed this way. Once again, the third book down the line here, which probably won't be too long until I start writing that one, is going to be discussing that and talking more in depth about the DNA. And we're discovering there's a lot of scientific stuff now talking about the DNA, and Greg Braden has a great book called The God Code that talks a lot about it. Boy, I've read that thing over and over again. It's more technical than I like, but it's amazing stuff. We can anyhow. We'll go into that at a different time. So there's seven principles. There's the seven stages of downloading. For instance, I'll just go through it real quick. The seven stages are the recognition of the system collapse that we're seeing outside right now. Then we're purging. The second step is purging the fragmented programming that I kind of mentioned just a few moments ago. Then we get into the DNA activation. So that's where the universal currents we begin to allow ourselves, we can begin to learn how to consciously work with our DNA, where we're turning on new genetics. Epigenetics is a big thing now, and we actually have the ability within ourselves to command more of that. That's the new level of consciousness that's coming through for humanity at this time of ascension. Then we start coming in the fourth stage of the downloading is the resonance with the higher architecture. We start feeling, we get glimpses in a sense of it in our mind's eye, in our body. It's a feeling, it's a knowing. Then we begin, just through our intention, really, and clear thinking, we begin to download this. We begin to download it in our system. Then we start to notice the divine coherence that starts coming through. As a matter of fact, once you're doing this, coherence becomes really one of your guiding principles for your life. If things are not coherent when you come into them, like if you're interfacing with old systems or maybe events in your life or obligations, even this, if it's really based in the old fragmented energy and you're in the new, it's going to be very difficult for you to interface with it in the same way you did before. Now, however, and I've tested a lot of this out, as you hold more of your telos, you can begin to shift the coherence and the platform of those around you and those organizations and institutions. So I've already had evidence of this, and I could see it working. So this is where we're very empowering. It's about empowering the human being, empowering the individual, knowing that everything you need is within you. You just need to learn how to access it. And it's through this that the seven stages creating a new reality. Okay. So the new reality is us, those of us choosing to do this. So if you're not choosing to do this, and I don't mean just my work, I mean in general about the ascension shift that's occurring right now, you will be in the old. And it might seem fine to just stay in the old, but as time goes on, these kind of timelines are drifting apart. And even not making a choice is a choice. The choice is yours. Some people won't even hear this information and they'll just go to their grave this lifetime in the old, which is fine. There's no right or wrong in that. But for those who want to be accessing their true power and authority in their life and to really wake up to what's happening and empower yourself and empower those around you, this, as well as I'm sure there's other practices out there that will help you do this, but this definitely will. Um, so we're this is literally a foundation replacement. Okay, this is not downloading a bunch of new concepts. It's the opposite of that. What we're doing is we're literally deconditioning from the old platform and reaching deep inside and accessing that code that is within us, a source code that's in each and every person to open up and begin activating the Telos platform. The cool thing about, and this is all in the book, then we talk about applications. So if we're using the tech analogies here, we have also the applications, that we run. Like my work is an application on the platform. My close relationship is an application on the platform. My other relationships are an application on the platform. My personal life is even, the things I do through the day, like I love swimming. I've been swimming a lot. Swimming and eating and what I do for leisure, which is also very important in this time um, of change. Leisure and rest time is very important. That's when the integration happens. And when you start to really take it on, anything that's not in coherence, you start to have an aversion to. And at first, it can seem very like it's in your way, that aversion. But we've been trained to operate a particular way on that hamster wheel, almost like in a slave type environment humanity has been in for a long, long time. And all that will be more in the DNA book as well. Um, but as you come into coherence, you're able to get done a tremendous amount of stuff like progress, whether it's writing or you're working on the computer, whatever it is you're doing. When you're in that alignment, in the coherence of the new program, things happen very quickly. Your visions that you have, your desires begin to manifest more quickly. For instance, my book. Okay, I'd written my book and I was thinking about self-publishing. I thought, well, it'd be nice to have a publisher maybe. And I thought about Hay House, and I don't have a literary agent, and I'm opting not to have one for reasons that I'm not going to go into right now. Um, and in that decision, I thought, well, let me try Hay House. And I looked them up, and they have this writers program where if you sign up and you go through this little course, they give you a one-time opportunity to submit a manuscript for publication. They actually have a contest, and and if you win, you get $10,000 plus they publish your book. And so I'm still might do that with another book, but so I was contemplating, and something didn't quite feel right, even though I had this opportunity. And I thought, boy, Hay House would be great for this book, but something didn't quite feel right. And then in a couple of days, while I'm in this quandary, somebody called me from a publishing company that publishes articles of mine in a periodical, has for about 20 years, my writings. And they wanted to use one of my graphics for the cover of the magazine. And they were asking permission. And I said, yeah. And then they asked about, oh boy, it'd be great if you wrote a book. And I said, actually, I just finished one. And right there on the spot, they said, well, we really want to publish it. So they looked at it, and then I mentioned in the manuscript I had two more books in a trilogy. They said, yeah, we want to give you a contract for all three books. It's like, wow, that was easy. I didn't even have to reach out. They called me, they came to me. And I think that's how it should work personally. And in my life, that's how the best things have worked is when I'm in alignment, I'm thinking about it, and the universe brings it to me. So that's something that's common, I think, when you're standing on this new platform. That's always been kind of business as usual for me, but it's let's just say it's ticked up quite a bit. So all the old tools that you have, like let's say you're a spiritual healer and you're gifted, certain gifts you have, like I'm clairvoyant, mediumship, all of that good stuff, a channel, energy worker, those who have worked with me, you feel the energy from, I could be on the other side of the planet and you feel it when we're working together. Um, and some of you maybe have noticed that those gifts seem to have lost power. Now, that's not your gifts. What that is the platform you're running it on. The old platform is falling apart and beginning to disintegrate. So, in that case, what you want to do is shift over to the new platform. It's like a new operating system. And then you run the old applications, which is your gifts in this example, on the new platform. And all of a sudden, not only your gifts are there that you thought of kind of just diminished, but now they're supercharged because they're on a new platform that has a lot more juice, a lot more bandwidth, a lot more RAM. And it's amazing. One of the things in my group that I'm working with of two other individuals and myself, there's three of us total, is capacity comes up. My capacity for holding a lot more kind of there, in my world is much, much greater. The things that used to kind of trip me up or that I would get kind of upset or just even frustrated that I had to deal with, none of that's there anymore. I can't think of anything that's there. The And right now I'm learning so much new stuff. I'm publishing this book, I'm signing contracts, starting a new LLC, all these different things that I've have to bring together. and my capacity for getting these things done, the understanding of it is much greater than my capacity's ever been in my life. Um, Even I've noticed in my life, I was born in the 60s. I'm in my 60s now, early 60s. And they didn't have the diagnoses for ADD. I think they did for dyslexia, but not ADD. And I had ADD, dyslexia. I was dyslexic as a kid, still had a little bit as an adult. But on the new platform, I'm finding that it's a lot easier to I would transpose letters while writing often. It's not unusual for writers to have ADD or being dyslexic. I always think that's always interesting. The good writers usually are, but by the time it's published, it's all that's been fixed. Um, but a lot of my learning, what we call learning disabilities, have disappeared or diminished quite a bit since I'm standing on the new platform. That's just one example. Um, my partner, Billy, you could ask her. She says, "Oh my God, the change that's happening to you, Kent, is unbelievable." And yeah, I feel like I'm living my dream. And I really want to share this because I know that if I can share this and you can get it, which I know you can, I've made it simplified now. I've laid out the map in this book, and I'm going to offer some online trainings, VIP trainings, for those who are interested in it to do live with me before the book even comes out. So I'm not going to talk too much more here. I'm super excited about this. And any of you who feel like this is something that really speaks to you, it's either going to speak to you or it's not. And when I say that, it might even speak to you in the way that if you feel a strong, strong resistance to this, that could be it speaking to you. Okay. So kind of check real deep because we become so conditioned to the old. I've had aspects of this in myself that even though it's not where we want to be, we're so habitualized into certain ways of thinking, structures of belief that it's difficult when when something new is good for us. Often it's hard to see it when it's right there in our face. This is where I recommend to people go into your heart, feel it for yourself. This is the Telos energy. This is the Telos channel. Everything I'm going to be talking about going forward to, I think for years, maybe the rest of my life is all going to be based around this telos. These concepts, these teachings, I'm just going to be channeling the energy. When I channel it, I feel so good. When I write it, put it there, that makes it concise, readable, digestible for you. I feel so good about that. And this is my dream coming true, being able to bring this forward. And I'm going to end here. I love you all so much. And we're all in this together, whether you believe it or not. And let's get together soon. I'm looking forward. Reach out. You know my email, my phone number you can find on my website, kentondavidbell.com. If you're not signed up for my messages and they sound good, I send out 3 or 4 messages a week. Inspirational little tidbits from my book are going to start coming out. And I'm going to be doing more podcasting like this too. If you have a desire to be on a podcast with me where we do some work and then we share it with others, let me know that too. I'll be looking for volunteers for that. So I think that's it for now. I love you all. We'll see you soon. Thank you for taking time to listen to this today. Bye bye.